Dude, what is that?
Look at the glute medius, man.
The glute medius.
Glute medius. Jane Fonda style.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, back to the 80s. Back to the 80s.
Way past my years.
Oh, yeah, it's burning so bad.
When I cover stuff in training, it's going to be whatever that goal is, that you do everything you can to get to that final goal. You're not comparing yourself to anybody else. You block out everything around you. You know, just almost having blinders on to the rest of the world. It's focusing on yourself, getting yourself better.
What's going on, guys? Now, I know that looked a little bit silly, but working the glute medius is really, really important. It's actually one of the forgotten core muscles that we never really think about. You think about the abs and all those muscles around it, but you don't really think about the glute medius. The glute medius is an extremely important muscle because it's a frontal plane stabilizer, meaning it's going to actually stabilize the pelvis and prevent you from tipping down different directions. If you think about it, daily we're doing things on one leg. Even just walking. I mean, how many times a day do we take steps? And we're walking, we're on one leg at a time. And it's the glute medius' job to make sure that we're stabilized. And if there's any weakness in that stability there of the pelvis, what's gonna suffer? Either something above it, being the lower back, or something below it, primarily the knees, okay? And oftentimes weak glute medius will cause a knee valgus, meaning the knees will come inward, and that can constitute ankle problems, knee problems, hip problems, everything up the kinetic chain is affected. So unless you're doing specific glute medius exercises, you're not really hitting the glute medius at all, because when we do squats, we don't really directly hit the glute medius. When we do deadlifts, we don't really directly hit the glute medius, but it's so important for that stability. So I'll show you an exercise that you can do, actually 2 different levels of intensity to work that glute medius and make sure that you're getting those strong so you have good stability throughout your daily function, as well as actually when you're out there actually doing the big lifts like the squat and deadlift. Now, the great thing about working the glute medius is that you can do it pretty much anywhere. You don't need much space, you don't need much time, but you need to do it frequently in order to make sure that you really get this muscle up to speed and up to performing the way it should to keep your, really, the whole kinetic chain healthy. What you're going to do is you're going to stabilize yourself just up against the wall, a pillar, whatever. This leg right here, the leg that's away from the pillar, away from my hand, it's actually going to be the actual hip, the glute medius that's working, okay? And of course, we're going to do it for both sides. What you're going to do is you're going to allow your pelvis to tip down, just be lazy and sink, and then drive up, actively contracting the side of the hip. That's the glute medius right here on the side. Sink down and up, contract. Down and up. Down and up, okay? Now, if you can't do this 20 times without being in excruciating pain where you have to abort the whole 20 reps, then that's a sign that you actually need to really, really work on the glute medius. Of course, then you do it to the other side. Now, once you get that worked up and that becomes too easy, you can take it up a level and grab a Swiss ball. Now you're providing some counter resistance across this direction. So you're gonna sink and then drive up. So now this ball is pushing back this way, it's providing a force and resistance where you have to drive it this way, it's pushing back. And I can really feel this just from the 5 that I did without the ball. Now this is really taking over, okay? And then if you want to take it up to another level, you can grab a band. I don't have a band with me, but you could anchor it to the pillar right across your pelvis, and now that force is going to be pulling you back. And so now you really have to really overcome that force and resistance. And of course, depending how far you are from the band and how long the band is stretched out, depends on how much resistance you're going to get. So again, guys, this is something that you can do daily. I would recommend doing it daily just to make sure that you develop that stability and that strength in the glute medius, because it's going to provide the stability in the hips, the knees, the ankles, lower back. If you have lower back problems, oftentimes the culprit is the glute medius. All right, guys, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it. I hope you guys are having a great 2018. Continue to make it a great 2018 by doing exercises like this that will keep you in the gym, making those gains throughout the course of the year. All right, guys, take care. See you soon.